Ramblings of a Music Teacher, Episode 35. ABRSM fees. Are they value for money? This Friday, the 19th of January 2018, is the UK online closing date for ABRSM exams. And as I was getting the necessary information I needed for entering this term's students, I noticed, as usual, that the ABRSM fees have gone up again, between £1 to £3 depending on the grades. I then decided to dig a little further to see how much they have risen over the last 5 or 6 years, and as this table shows, there has been an increase of between 14 to 19% over this time period. For some grades, this is about twice as much as wages have increased over the same time period. Of course, these are figures for the UK, so feel free to leave a comment about increases in the fees for other countries in the comments below. So, do these exams offer good value for money? Have ABRSM exams become elitist, only available to those from well-off families? And where does the money go? Some of you may have taken part in the recent poll I put on the channel, asking whether you think that these ABRSM fees are good value for money. And, as of the date of this podcast, 55% of you thought that the ABRSM exam fees were extortionately overpriced. Of those who belong to the 45% who consider the fees were good value for money, a couple of comments made interesting reading. Mr. Rubber Duck said, "I do not think they are extortionately overpriced, so I guess I have to go for this option. They are a little expensive, and this does nothing to help the ever-growing air of elitism that surrounds classical music these days. But realistically, it's going to cost a lot to hire a venue and pay for the training and time of an examiner. However, it's possible that the product you get from lower grades is not worth the money, as it won't open any doors for you. The later exams, i.e. grade 8 and onwards, do grant you some respectability in the music world and can open doors in your career, so the money is definitely worthwhile. I think it's sad how many monetary barriers there are for the study of music, but when you consider it from a business standpoint, it is unavoidable. A possible solution would be for the government to offer schools funding for the exams of any students learning an instrument at that school. This would increase the school's focus on music and its education in general, which would be great, and would allow young people to have one less barrier in their musical journey. Another one of my subscribers, Anna Lee, states, "As an adult who pays my own exam fees, it just adds another, certainly not the only, reason to do well in my exams. I did get a shock when I saw the difference in price for grade 3 and 4, but I'm still willing to pay the fees because I want constant feedback to know I am progressing. If the fees are a problem, there is always the option to skip exams and only do the grades that are required." First of all, I want to thank those who have contributed their comments, and you might think that examiners are paid very high wages, but according to one source I read of an actual examiner, and I have left a link in the description below where you can check out his blog, he states, "The money is miserable. You earn more washing up in a hotel kitchen." The same author also mentioned, "You can't do the job unless you are prepared to spend a large chunk of your life on the road or in the air," which may be a clue as to where some of the money goes. ABRSM examiners travel all over the world and never examine local to their home in order to avoid possibly examining someone they know or students of a local teacher they may know, even though it did happen on one occasion that an examiner of my students was a friend of mine at the Royal Academy of Music many years ago. It may surprise you to know that the Associated Board of the Royal Schools of Music is a registered charity. The ABRSM is one of the UK's 200 largest charitable organisations ranked by annual expenditure. According to Wikipedia, a charity is a non-profit organisation whose primary objectives are philanthropy and social well-being, for example, charitable, educational, religious, or other activities serving the public interest or common good. However, according to their latest set of public accounts, the ABRSM raised over £41 million from exam fees and just under a further £8 million from publishing sales. And again, you can view a link for these public accounts in the description below. Now, call me cynical, but although ABRSM is technically non-profit making, it doesn't have fat cat shareholders, my idea of a charity, even if not exactly the legal definition of one, is an organisation that promotes the welfare of others, expressed by the donation of money to good causes. Okay, the ABRSM does award to a lucky few free scholarships to study music, but pricing worse-off families out of taking their exams seems somewhat contrary to the principle of a charity. Added to this, charitable organisations are eligible for reliefs and exemptions from taxation in the UK, such as income tax, capital gains tax, inheritance tax, stamp duty, land tax, and value-added tax. How convenient. So, which side of the fence do you fall on? Having heard more than maybe you previously knew, do you think that the ABRSM exam fees are good value for money? Please do leave a comment below, and as always, thank you for listening, and tune in next week for more ramblings of a music teacher.